Hey everyone, welcome to Moms in Real Estate. Today's guest is Gabrielle Bruner. She has been in the business for 8 years and she's a new mom. She has an 11-month-old little boy. She's already closed $6 million this year, so she's killing in real estate. And today you're going to find out why sometimes it's good to get fired. So let's get started.
Angela Fazio is an industry powerhouse who has overseen 40,000 homes sold and $9 billion in production. And Kristen Cantrell is one of the nation's most accomplished team leaders, helping thousands of agents build their businesses. They are passionate about educating, encouraging, and empowering moms in real estate. Our next episode starts now.
Hi, ladies. Welcome.
Hello.
So Gabrielle just moved, so she's using her hotspot for internet. So if it looks fuzzy, it's because it is, and it's okay. But behind all that is a beautiful girl. We're so happy to have you. Kristen, thank you for being here. So Gabrielle, give us a little bit. I know that people call you Gabe, so we'll call you Gabe from here on out.
Okay.
But tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was born and raised here in Arizona. I grew up in Tempe. My husband and I met about a week out of high school, and we've kind of been together ever since. We got married 3 years ago now, and I've been in real estate for 8 years. We had our baby last August, and yeah, that's a nutshell.
That is a nutshell, yes. And so you've really done well in real estate.
What?
I feel like that's like the perfect story if you're like dreaming of what your life like when you grow up and meet your boyfriend a week after or your husband a week after high school, get married, have a baby.
No. There was a little break. It wasn't as good as it sounds.
oh wow. It does sound If I would have met my husband a week out of high school, he would have been like 26. That would have been awful. Yeah. I graduated at 17. So okay.
What'd you say?
I said good thing it was later than otherwise.
Yeah,
he would have been 26.
I don't think my mom would have been happy.
Yeah, right.
Well, I started dating Dave when I was 19 and he was 26, and my dad was so mad, but we worked out.
Yeah, we did.
When I turned 26, I looked at him and I was like, how did you date me when I was 19?
Girls are different though. It would have been the other way around
that would have been worse.
No.
So tell us about your boy. Oh, I gotta let my dog out. Hold on.
You're fine. Should I go?
Yeah, go.
So he was born in August. His name's Bo. He's this giant baby. Like he wears 2T and 3T clothes. He's just giant, but he's the best little guy. We're just obsessed with him. He's always been so easy until probably like a month ago, and now he's so busy in everything all over the place. So we're kind of adjusting from having an easy baby to one that's just all over the place. So we're learning right now.
Because he's like, is he walking yet, or is he crawling around everywhere?
He's like sprint crawling is what I call it. He's like, you turn your head and he's disappeared. You have no he's gone.
That's definitely one of the hardest times when you have a baby is like, because you're used to them just like sitting there and they can't do anything without you. And then all of a sudden they're just like putting everything in their mouth. And
yeah, he's become very independent.
Yeah.
So tell us how it's been. Like you've been in real estate for 8 years, and this is obviously the first year you've had a baby and been in real estate, and you're still doing better. So tell us about that a little bit.
So, well, I do want to preface I've been in real estate for 8 years, but my first 3 years, they were part-time. So, and I sold like a house or two a year. So I don't even know if that really counts. The one adjustment that I had to kind of make, and I know that anyone else can relate to this, was before I could kind of just ebb and flow and do what I wanted when I wanted. And now I just had to become this juggling expert overnight. You know what I mean?
Like literally overnight.
Literally overnight. And his schedule comes first even before my work. So I really have had to kind of make an effort and learn to time management so much better than I used to. I kind of used to just do everything on the fly, or I would have my full day ahead of me to do something. And I was just flexible because real estate really doesn't have a schedule unless you do time blocking, which I don't. And then, so that was my biggest thing, was learning time management, getting up maybe an hour earlier than I used to just to get myself ready first and then take care of him, figure out everything just with his day first before work. So that's been my biggest obstacle, but I think I'm doing okay.
I don't know if that part ever gets better. I had my kids slept over at my sister's Wednesday night. So yesterday I woke up, I got ready in 15 minutes. I was out the door in 20 minutes. This is the life. Like
all of a sudden, like very good at like doing things quickly, where it used to take me a long time.
It takes a long time. Like we raise really, really independent kids, but it still takes like until they're 6 or 7 before, that's not true. 4 or 5 until you can really start to have some control.
Don't say 6 or 7, say 4 or 5.
I know.
6 or 7, I still have time. It's mine or not.
It's hard. Now it's a lot easier. Like that part's a lot easier because, I have 6 kids and 4 are still here and the youngest is 9. So that part gets a lot easier, but then everything else starts to get complicated. It's like,
you're right. Yeah.
It's a lot. And my favorite line in your questionnaire that you said is you're like, I used to like, what did you say? Something about, I didn't realize how much time I had or something like that. What did you say?
Go ahead.
I have no idea. I even said this to my husband yesterday because we're living in a construction zone because we're renovating our house. And so all of our stuff is still kind of in the garage and then we're working on top of it. And we always keep talking about how simple our life was just a year ago. And I would feel busy. I don't know what the hell I was busy with. What was I doing? Like, we traveled all the time. We did whatever we wanted. Like, I was working, but at the same time, like I don't know why I felt busy and stressed because that was cake.
Sometimes my kids say, that they just don't have time to do something. I'm like, you don't have a job. You don't even do your chores. How do you not have time in the world? Hey, Danny Miller. Hi, Danny.
Oh, I love Danny.
Miss your face, Danny.
I'm not the only one.
She's up in the White Mountains at her cabin right now.
Yeah?
She's the best.
So, okay, I had teased everybody at the beginning when I introduced you and said how sometimes it's good to get fired. So I really want to talk about your story there. Tell us about that.
Okay, so when I started, I was in the restaurant industry since the minute I turned 16 until I got fired when I was 24. But so I was at Zips. I'm not trying to like call them out, but I worked at Zips for 5 years. And I would get written up from time to time for like having my cell phone out or just like doing things I wasn't supposed to. So I kept giving myself deadlines to quit to get full-time into real estate, and I kept avoiding them. So I would say like, okay, I'm going to quit after the Super Bowl, or I'll quit after March Madness, or whatever like big chunk of money was coming at the time from the service industry. So my last deadline was, I said I'm going to quit before my 25th birthday, which was May 18th, which is Kristen's birthday also.
Yep.
And then it was May 13th. I went in and I remember I gave a regular a free soda. I didn't even think about ringing it in. Like he just asked for it. He had 5 beers beforehand. I wasn't like deliberately giving merchandise away. I'm not making an excuse for myself. But so that's the reason why I got canned, but it was 5 days before my birthday. And I remember I walked out and I was like, well, they did it for me. Heartbroken. I was heartbroken. I loved that job. Like I loved my friends. I loved the regulars, but I would never have left if they didn't make me leave. So it was a good thing.
That is a good thing. How many years were you already in real estate at that time when you got fired?
I was 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have ever done it. I'm telling you, God is so good that way. Sometimes when we know what we're supposed to be doing and we don't do it, sometimes he's like, I gave you the chance to do it yourself.
Yes.
Now I'm going to do it for you. You're fired.
It sounds so stupid to be fired over a Coke, but literally if that's like the small thing that it took to get me out of there, so thankful
You're
for
better
it.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband and I talk about it all the time. Like I would have never left. And I remember when I called him when I was walking out of the bar and I was like sobbing, he was like, well, what are you going to do for a job? And I was like, I think I just have to do real estate full time now.
What did he think about that?
He was nervous because he had to float the boat for a little bit, which he was capable of, but we weren't even engaged. So I think it was kind of like a little bit of a hard pill for him to swallow. Like, okay, he loved me, we lived together, I was his girlfriend, but at the end of the day, it's not like we were officially tied to each other. So yeah, I couldn't have done it without him either.
I'll tell you what, when Chuck and I were first together, we weren't married at first, and we were partnering, and he had a graveyard shift at the casino. Yeah. And we were trying to get our real estate business going and it wasn't working. We were sucking. And so I made him quit his job. Like I fired him, but I wasn't his boss. I said, if you don't quit this job, we can't, we have to put everything into this job. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was good. I fired him.
That's awesome.
we wouldn't have been, because if you're working from I don't know what graveyard shift is. It's 9 or 10 at night until way early in the morning. Yeah. How good are you during the day? That's you can do that for a minute, but you can't go and
you're gonna get burnt out really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's awesome. That's the best firing ever. Did you ever go back to your old boss and thank him?
No, because there's kind of a turnover there. My old boss got fired a minute after I did. So, I've never
yeah. So I was hoping you were going to say, well, I actually sold his house.
Right. That would be cool, though.
That would be cool. Don't even discount it. You never know when it's going to come back around.
No, I wouldn't even. You're right. If he were to call one day, I would happily do it. I have no idea if he still lives in the state. So.
So tell us what your best source of business is. Is it your personal sphere?
Yes, it's my sphere 100%. So I was born and raised here, obviously. And then I just have a big network that I've established just from either the bar or just growing up here, friends, families, friends. Friends, families. So everything, literally, if I look at my book of business for just even the past 3 years, there's nothing that just came randomly.
How do you work it?
I wish I had a good answer. I don't have an organized way to work it. I don't have a CRM. I know that's the biggest real estate crime in all the world. You need to have a database and you need to work it. And I just honestly, I have a notebook that I keep lists constantly. And then the next day I'll cross off leads as they come in. And then the next day I'll look at the list from the day before and just keep it updated. It's kind of an archaic way to do things, but it's just the way I do it.
You know what?
I love this. I think
you know what? You are one of my favorite types of agents that I would love to coach because you do well and you don't have a system. And so can you imagine, and I'm talking to all of you guys out there, let us help you. If you're talented and have connections like Gabe here and you're killing it and you have no systems, do you know what a top producer you can be? It is so cool.
I think about that all the time. I literally think about that all the time. So I in my to-do list, my master to-do list, it's always to sign up for Lion's Desk or something like that. So it's always in the back of my mind. It's just something else will come up that I just put it on the back burner for.
I'll never forget. I was talking to this agent. We were having coffee, and she does 13 million in production. She goes, I don't have any system. She goes, if I start to feel slow, I pick up my phone and I scroll and I start texting people and I'll get deals. I'm like, well,
honestly, that kind of is how it is. So to Angela's aside, that's absolutely right. That's kind of how I do it too. I can't, if I actually had a system and spent even 2 hours every single day, I think it would just
explode.
Yeah.
When you're ready to explode your business, swear. It's just, oh my gosh, Danny, you don't either. We need to talk. That's so exciting. It's not, and I'm not trying to be critical at all, because if you can kill it with no systems, I mean, come on. The world is open to you to go out and just, you could build a team because of it. If you wanted to, you could have a buyer's agent. There's so much you could do to build your business when you're raw talent, you're a people person, you've got a network, and you're killing it already. That is so exciting.
You know what, Angela, maybe this podcast will be like the catalyst of me getting fired. Maybe you saying all this will be the catalyst for me like actually doing it.
Yeah.
We can help. We can help. Anyway, I even forget we have an audience, but that was like awesome. And if you guys are listening, don't be ashamed of the things that you aren't doing. Celebrate what you are doing, and then go find someone to help you get better at what you aren't doing. That's the process of being amazing in this career. You just, you know what? I recognize something I need to work on, and now I'm going to take that next step. And then all of a sudden your business changes, and then you have another path. That's why I've been able to stay in this business since 2001, because it doesn't have to stay the same, and you can grow when you're ready to grow. It's so exciting. I'm a little bit
my baby's daycare is on summer break right now, so he goes back next week. So I will hold myself accountable. His first day back at daycare, I will set it up.
I'll send you some training. Anyone who has a great database, anybody who is killing it already but doesn't have systems in place, if you will email me, I will send you a free training. In fact, I think there I am. If you email me or call me, I will send you the training for free. You don't have to do anything. I'll literally just send it to you. And this is for your center of influence. I would love to help.
That's an awesome offer. Thank you.
All right. So tell us, what do you do in all your free time?
Well, there's nothing now. We used to travel all the time. We used to try and take a big trip a year internationally or wherever. My husband actually used to work on the East Coast 6 months out of the year. So for like April to October, I used to go back and forth from wherever he was to out here, and we would take little mini trips. Like when I was up there, we would go like try and catch a Diamondbacks game wherever they were on the East Coast. We're giant Cardinals fans. We have season tickets, so a lot of our time is devoted to them. We go to a Cardinals game away every year too, which we've been doing that for like 8 years now, which is super fun, but I don't think it's happening this year. It's kind of a bummer.
Playing last weekend?
Yeah, we went to Wyoming to see my family. but a family vacation with your baby is almost more work than not going on vacation.
So I'll teach you a new phrase. If my husband and I go on vacation, it's a vacation. If our family comes, it's a family trip.
There you go. Yeah, they're two different categories. Yeah, we on the flight home, we were like, this was work.
Yeah. You have to tell everyone this story about when your son and you and breastfeeding and that like moment you had.
What? God, is it the one that I wrote down about a showing and he ran out of food?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I was like 6 or 7 weeks postpartum, and I took him to a showing. My husband was at work, and I had just finished breastfeeding the week before. Well, I was weaning, so I didn't bring a bottle because he had just eaten, and I was like, okay, this is one house. Like it was down the road from my actual house too, so I was like, perfect, we'll be in and out in 30 minutes. Well, of course, we found like 2 or 3 more after that. And I remember I was just so stressed the entire time thinking like, please just stay asleep. Do not wake up. The minute you wake up, you're going to be a monster. And so what does he do at the very last house? He wakes up. So he's screaming in the car, and I just go and unlock the door for them. And I say like, hey, go take a look. I have to try and feed him. Like I can't take him in this house. So I grabbed him. I'm sitting in the back of my car, and I'm trying to breastfeed him. And I literally think like a drop came out.
Oh no, which pissed him off.
Not even a full teaspoon. And that just made him lose his mind. And I was crying too. And I just remember I rolled down the window because they were walking out of the house, and I said, all right, I'll call you guys later.
We all have those stories.
We were luckily still within like 10 minutes from our house, and then my husband came and intercepted him actually. So he wound up being fed, but it was just like, I remember thinking like, this was a good lesson for me. I don't leave the house now without food.
No.
Did those people buy a house from you?
Yeah. They closed in December.
One time I was door knocking with my 20-year-old now. He's almost 21. I can't even believe it. I was door knocking with him, and you can see my dog's tail. I was door knocking with him, and he was in a stroller, and he was like 1, and he put his hand outside of the stroller, and he brushed it against one of those cactuses that have little teeny spines and itching powder, and so he went like this, and so the spines were in both of his hands. And he started like losing his mind. And so this lady was out in her front yard, and she brought me inside, helped pick every single spine out of his hands. And he was like so done and so spent and so exhausted. And so I was like ready to bring him home. But when I rolled the stroller out of the house, I saw down the street that the for sale by owner, like the guy had just pulled up in the driveway. So instead of being a good mom, I beelined it for the for sale by owner. And I got listening.
I was going to say, did you end up selling the house for the lady who helped you? But it was done.
I got the for sale by owner. Yes. And then that actually started a stream of business, because the people who bought that for sale by owner had a house to sell, and people who, I mean, it was like the stream of business from me treating my very tired 1-year-old second rate.
That's not bad. I just feel like the breastfeeding story, like I think everyone can like think of a moment where they were like in a situation like that. And I feel like when you're a new mom and your baby's hungry, you feel like they're gonna starve if they don't get food. Like the second they start crying, like I would pull over on the side of the road the minute they'd start screaming. That newborn scream, oh, it was the worst.
And I feel like there's this myth that breastfeeding is like happy and easy, and it's far from either of those things. So that's why I quit so early, because I just had to dive back into work, and it just, I just
hard
on me at all times after that.
I remember thinking like, okay, nobody warned me about this, and this is harder than giving birth. I was like, this
was hard.
No one said about how hard breastfeeding is.
So I'm going to tell you a terrible story that you're never going to unsee. Okay. So when I was breastfeeding my first child, you took pictures, and then you went and you brought it to the Walgreens or whatever to get them developed. Right. And so that ages me. So I thought, I've seen all of these beautiful pictures of breastfeeding. They're sweet. And I wanted one of me and my son. And so I took a picture, or I think somebody took a picture. Right. And I thought this is going to be like a sweet, very like modest picture of breastfeeding. So I brought it to the film to the Walgreens, and then a few days later, go to pick up the pictures, and I opened them up there in Walgreens, and I started crying immediately. And this is why. I had big boobs already. They were so big from breastfeeding. So it looked like a watermelon next to a pea. It was disgusting. And the reason why I was crying is not because I couldn't throw it out, but the guy behind the counter is probably the one who stuff.
Really?
That's a riot. And relatable.
It was awful.
That's so funny.
I know. So what are your plans this year? You're going to do 6 million. Do you think that you're going to double? What are you going to do?
Well, you're already at 6 million, aren't you?
At the end of July, it'll be 6. So my goal was 8. So I'm hoping it'll be now I'm like remodeling it. I think hopefully it'll be somewhere around 10. My focus has been solely on my house right now for the past 2 weeks. So I know without a shadow of a doubt that 2 weeks will like create a lag somewhere. So I need to pedal to the metal next week and just start social media-ing it again, calling people again, texting people again, because I can always kind of just feel when there's a lag if I haven't kept my focus. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So just those 2 weeks. So I'm hoping to finish somewhere around 10 now. I'm thinking it'll be likely. The market's bananas, as you guys know.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I've got to take advantage of it while I can.
So what advice would you give someone either who's hesitant to get into real estate? Should I call maybe say, hey, if you have another job and you're hesitant to get in real estate, just have your boss call me and I'll tell things to get you fired.
First of all, my first advice would be to give away a free Coke to your regular to go with their pizza. My biggest advice would be out the gate would be to either join a team or hire a coach if you have the funds to do so, because I think part of the reason why I was so afraid to leave was because I thought I could do it on my own. Like the thought of giving away half of a commission or 30% of a commission just like made me sick, but I was also making $0. So like I was giving away 30% of zero. But I wish I would have joined a team out the gate, because it did take me like 3 years to kind of actually get going until I did join the team. And they kind of, because I had no confidence, I was scared to even like call an agent. I thought every person that I was calling was some $50 million producer that was just going to walk all over me and make me feel stupid. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, would be to join a team or get a coach, something to help you gain confidence out the gate, because it is an intimidating industry, because there's so many people and there's so many people with experience, and that would be my biggest number one.
Awesome. That is awesome advice. In fact, if you're out there and you're new or you're struggling, read this. My husband and I wrote it, and right in there it says, why the heck are you reinventing the wheel? Why are you doing that? Yeah. There are plenty of people out there and resources so that you can be excellent faster and learn faster. So that is awesome advice.
I read that book. I do like that book quite a bit.
Thank you. So if you guys are struggling out there, you can call any of us and we'll help point you in the right direction. So don't struggle by yourself. You don't have to. Real estate is so great, and there are things that you can learn quicker than just trying to figure it out by yourself. So you have been, and you're clear now, so everyone can see how pretty you are.
You are.
Wait, was I not?
No.
A little bit, no. You were like a mysterious woman.
You were like giving away secrets, and they had to like blur out your body so no one could identify you.
Wi-Fi is tomorrow.
What'd you say?
Wi-Fi is tomorrow.
I'm coming over today so I can get boxes.
Yes, I'm looking at them. They're right over there.
Okay.
I thank you so much. I know moving and a baby and trying to keep your business alive is so busy, but thank you for taking time to talk with us. I just know that our audience is going to love you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was fun.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week for another episode and share this with your friends. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.